So, you lovely lot, welcome back. I am inviting you to start the session laid down this evening. Um, we will be going through our paces a little bit tonight because some of you might have remembered, some of you might have blocked it out, but tonight is officially the night that we will celebrate the summer solstice. 108 salutes to the sun. Are we ready? Are we heck? We'll do some. We'll do some. So I thought I might start off nicely and I'll invite you all to have a little lie down. I'm going to do something a little bit different tonight, and I actually don't know how it's going to work over the airwaves. I have mentioned a couple of times that I have recently made a new shamanic drum. So I have my drum collection over my shoulder here. I'm actually going to make another drum this weekend because I'm addicted now. But I'm going to show you my big drum. That's the one I'm going to use tonight. So I'm going to start off with some shamanic drumming. I've been smudging the room. Obviously, that doesn't translate over the video, but I will use some of my smudging with my feather over the airwaves, so you'll get the gist. Woohoo! You can lap it all up. Yeah, so I'm going to start with a little bit of gentle drumming. We will be doing some Salute to the Suns this evening. And I'll also remind you that it will be a full moon at the solstice as well. So how exciting is that? So the solstice is technically Friday. So if you want to get up and salute to the sun, I suggest that you do it about 4:45, 5 a.m. I will be joining a group of wonderful women in a very remote location to do my salute to the sun at 5 a.m. on Friday morning, so you can think of me. And then the full moon will be that night into the following morning, so 2 a.m. on the 22nd of June. So lots of lovely energy to be soaking up at the moment. So for now, just take a little rest and we shall begin. So as I mentioned, I'm burning some, it's actually lavender and sage, a little bit of mugwort in here, all combined. So I shall waft that through the airwaves. And if you decide to watch the video back later, I'm just going to give you a quick shot of the back of the drum. Everyone's like, I need to see it. So this is my drum handle. And I have inlaid in there a little piece of lapis lazuli. And you'll also see that with my drum, the design is that it was made on a crescent moon. So I've left a crescent moon shape at the back of the drum. This hide was actually dyed naturally with beetroot. So that's why it's a lovely red shade. I know, it's dead exciting. So for now, just allow the heartbeat of the drum to connect with your heartbeat as we honour the beast that created this drum. So consider the position that you have taken. Notice how you're holding your body. For a moment, absorb the quiet. And bring your full awareness to the breath. Working with a full deep inhalation, a long steady exhalation. Take your time to check in with your body, to check in with your state of mind. Notice anywhere in the body that may be asking for a little extra attention. Send a nourishing, energizing breath to any part of the body that needs release. And as you exhale, feel the weight of your bones settle and connect with the earth beneath you. We want to start our practice this evening feeling energized. So think of that drumming earlier as a clarion call. Feel that heartbeat. Set an intention. Repeat your personal intention to yourself 3 times in the present tense. I feel energized. I feel strong. I am ready. Let's make some tiny adjustments now to start to return sensation to the body. If you've started with your knees bent, take a moment to extend your legs along the mat. Gently wake up the back of the head by slowly rocking the head from one side to another. Bring the head to rest in center. If the hands are gently resting on the belly, just take a moment to rest them either side of the hips, palms turned up towards the ceiling. Stretching the fingers wide in a gesture of receptivity. On an inhale, squeeze the shoulders up towards the ears. On an exhale, relax the weight of your arms, the backs of your hands into the floor. On the next inhalation, point the toes away, lengthening through the fronts of the legs. As you exhale, draw the toes towards the shins, pressing through the heels, feeling a deeper stretch to the back of the calves. Inhale now to point through the toes, lifting the arms overhead, taking a long stretch through the full length of your body. As you exhale, draw the thumbs together in an interlock, draw the toes once more towards the shins, press through the heels, and repeat that lengthened stretch, opening into the sides of the waist and the ribcage. On the next inhalation, point through fingers and toes. On the exhale, return to that interlock position, feet in flexion, squeezing the upper body over to the right side, resting the head between the upper arms, opening into that left side of the waist and the ribcage. Inhale again to separate, lengthening, taking a long stretch. Then exhale, coming back to interlock, squeezing the upper body over to the left side, opening out through the right of the waist. Inhale again, returning to center, a lovely long stretch. On the exhale this time, draw both knees in towards the chest. Your choice whether you place the hands to the shins or bring the hands to the back of the thighs, just to allow that lower back to release. If it comforts you, take a moment to gently rock from one side to the other. And we want to feel almost like a massaging action across the sacrum into the lower back. Softening into this now by drawing a figure of 8 with the knees. So more of a gentle roll through the lower back. Gently coming back again to centre, replacing both feet on the mat. Knees positioned hip width distance apart, insides of the feet parallel. The palms out to make a T shape. So the hands in line with the shoulders, palms turned up to the ceiling, shoulder blades drawn together. On the out breath, simply roll both knees over to the right side, taking the head over to the left side. Just allow a gentle restriction here, or a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Feel that little bit of gentle tension around the left side of the hip. Inhale to return the knees to centre, then exhale, dropping the knees to the left. Just feeling that tightness on the opposite side. Inhale again to return to centre, widening the feet now until they become as wide as the edges of your mat. On an out breath, draw both knees over to the right side. You might notice you're more able in this position to keep the back of the hips square. You might feel a little more release and opening through the sides of the pectoral muscles. Inhale to widen from fingertip to fingertip. Exhale to engage the core, roll the knees through centre and draw the knees over to the other side. Again, our aim is to remain equally balanced through the back of the hips, through the shoulders, to just allow that little bit of extra space in, to the front of the hips, to the side of the pectorals. Inhaling once more from fingertip to fingertip, exhaling to engage the core and return again to centre. Let's lift both feet from the mat. So the knees remain bent, bringing the hands onto the knees. The knees aren't together. They're now about shoulder width distance apart. We're again going to gently roll through the lower back, finding a little comfort here, a little release. As we return to centre, using the hands to draw circles with the knees so you can feel the top of the thigh bone into the hip socket. Change direction, draw those circles the opposite way. So all of this is nice and gently, just releasing tension in the lower back. Then hugging both knees in towards the chest, applying a little more pressure so that you can really press that lower back into the floor. Then release that tension, both feet to the mat. Take a moment to roll to whichever side feels most comfortable for you. We're now going to use the hands to lift ourselves up into a seated position. And I'm going to come to a crossed-legged position. So bring the left heel in towards the groin, stack the front heel in front. So in my case, the right foot is in front of the left. Bring the hands either side of the hips. For now, I know that my back is tight, so I'm just touching fingertips to the floor. Inhaling to lift the shoulders up towards the ears. Then on an out breath, roll the shoulders back and allow the weight of your arms to sink a little more deeply into the mat. So we're going to keep the palms connected to the mat. As we inhale, lift and lengthen out of the sit bones. So keep those shoulders relaxed, widen through the chest. On the next inhalation, slide the right hand away. Then lift that left arm up and over. On an out breath, ease over that midline of the body. So creating a nice long stretch through the left side of the waist into the side of the rib cage. Take care not to tick the body forward. The stretch will be found if you rotate the side of the rib cage up towards the ceiling. Inhale to lift, lengthen to center. On the out breath, squeeze the opposite arm away. Inhale to lift that right arm up. So start with the shoulder blades drawn together. On the next exhalation, lower the left elbow towards the floor. That will just give you a little more space to come across that midline of the body. Inhaling to lift, come back to center. I'm going to place the right hand all the way behind the right hip. Take the left hand to the right knee. Avoid the knees springing up here, so let the knees and the inner thighs relax. Inhale to lift and lengthen. As you exhale, follow the right side of the rib cage towards the back of the room. Keep those shoulders relaxed, the jaw released. Inhale now to lift both arms overhead. Press into a Y shape, keeping the shoulders back and down. Then bring the palms together to create an interlock overhead. Turn the hands inside out. Press through the palms. Level up the ears between the upper arms, drawing the shoulders away from the ears, expanding and widening through the collarbones. Then on the out breath, release the hands, opposite hand to opposite knee. Inner thighs relaxed. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, squeeze to come into the twist. Keep drawing the shoulder blades together, with every inhalation lengthening out of the sit bones. Then on the next exhale, release. Bring your shoulders to face front again. Let's position both hands in front of that right ankle. Inhale to lift. As you exhale, take a moment to gently walk the hands a little further forward. We don't want to go so far forward that the bottom lifts from the floor, so just find a comfortable reach. Then as you exhale, start to bring the elbows a little deeper towards the floor, towards the mat. Working with the breath until you can find your forearms nicely relaxed to the mat, shoulder blades drawn together. Easing now to bring the collarbones parallel to the floor. Just being mindful of any tension on the neck here. Keep your gaze soft, perhaps looking at the space between the forearms, shoulder blades drawn together. Your choice whether you stay here and allow gravity to encourage that deeper opening in the inner thighs, or perhaps you want to stack one fist on top of the other to bring the forehead to rest. Now be mindful about rushing to this point. If this creates excessive curvature in the upper back, let's just remain in this gravity hanging posture. If you've found lots of space in the inner thighs this evening, you might prefer to stack one palm on top of the other and bring the forehead all the way down to the backs of the hands. But again, no rush to do so if this compromises our technique in the upper back. Make sure that you're coming to the end of each full breath. As you come to the next exhalation, extend the arms forward again, push into the palms and inhale to lift back towards center. Now let's switch that leg cross over, so the opposite foot in front, behind. And I'm just going to do a couple of spine rolls while we're here. So if we place the hands onto the knees, visualize that on the out breath, we're drawing the tummy button towards the spine, and this creates a curvature in the spine, bringing the chin towards the chest. No one breathes at this pace, so we'll go slowly through the technique. Then on the inhale, lift the sternum forward, draw the shoulders back, and lift your gaze. It doesn't have to go all the way up, but just enough that you're opening into the throat chakra, the upper heart chakra. Exhale, roll. Inhale, open forward. Exhale, cat stretch. Inhale, cow pose. 2 more, exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. On the next exhalation, bring yourself back to center, feeling the back of the head line up with the back of the tailbone. Turn the palms up towards the ceiling. Squeeze the shoulders up towards the ears on an in-breath. On an out-breath, just shrug and let them go. Beautiful. Now bring both hands behind the lower back. Let's create an interlock nice and low, shoulder blades drawn together. And again, we're just going to fix that temptation of leaning forward. So realign the back of the head to the back of the tailbone. Relax the inner thighs. Inhale to widen through the chest. Exhale to squeeze the arms away from the lower back. Just gently widening the space across the chest. Careful of that chin posture. So the underside of the chin should remain parallel. Everybody went woof when I said that. Chin parallel to the floor, nice and relaxed. Keep drawing the chin almost back towards the neck. Then on the next out breath, release. Lovely. Perfect. Now let's reposition the hands behind the hips. So my preference is for the fingertips to turn out. Some of you will be very flexible and be able to turn the fingers all the way to the back of the room. Do what's comfortable for you, for your own posture. So position 1 in this posture, it's an extension of the cow pose. We're effectively lifting the sternum, drawing the shoulder blades together, lifting the gaze and opening out through the front of the chest. So that's option 1. Option 2 in this posture is to press the shins forward, lift the bottom from the floor and continue that opening through the chest. That nice connection through the shoulder blades, lifting the gaze towards the ceiling. Then as you exhale, release, bringing the sit bones back to the floor. Perfect. Let's bring the feet now into a Baddha Konasana posture. I'll remind those of you who sometimes find the hip postures a little twingy, that if you take your feet a little further away, you'll be putting less stress on the hip joints. For those of us who need a right good stretch in the inner thigh, pull the heels a little closer to the groin. So start by again releasing the inner thigh muscles, so we don't want the knees springing up. Inhale to lift, exhale, hinge forward. Think of that beautiful diagonal line from the back of the head to the tailbone. So it's not about getting your head to your toes, it's about elongating the spine, lifting the sternum. Oh, I can really feel that in the inner thighs. That's what I needed tonight. Then as you exhale, engage the core. As you inhale, lift and come back to center. Not everyone's favourite, so we'll do the alternative option, widening the feet now. My tip in this one is always to keep a little gap behind the knees so that you're not overdoing it on these hamstrings. Toes pointing up, lifting once more out of the sit bones, realigning the back of the head to the tailbone. Then you can start to bring the hands forward. So keeping that lovely long line, not relaxing into it. Follow the sternum as you start to ease the upper body forward. Think once more of the diagonal. And again, you have choices. You can either focus on bringing the forearms towards the floor, keeping the shoulder blades drawn together. Or if it's easier for you, you might prefer to take the hands out to the feet. Just gives you something to aim for. And again, it's that idea of perhaps bringing the collarbones, the shoulders parallel to the floor. Lengthening through the sternum, equally weighted through the sit bones. Feeling this in the back of the legs. Feeling this in the inner thighs. Reposition the hands under the shoulders to protect the lower back. Exhale, draw the tummy button in. Inhale, lift and come back to centre. Perfect. We'll draw the feet together and we'll bring ourselves now into an all fours position. So start with knees under hips, wrists under shoulders. As we work up through the sequence, we might take the hands a little further forward. But for now, let's just start in an equally weighted posture. Let's get into the habit of spreading the fingers so that we can feel the base of the index finger, the base of the thumb pressing into the mat. Tiny little gap under that space. Soften out the elbows. Let's not lock the upper arms. Turn both toes under. So practice again that cat stretch, exhaling to draw the tummy button in, rolling up from the lower back if you can, tucking the chin towards the chest. Then reversing by inhaling, lifting the sternum forward. So I always go onto the flats of the feet when I'm doing my cow pose. I always turn the toes under when I'm exhaling into the cat. Inhaling one more time. Then exhaling, coming back to a neutral spine position. Because I've already signposted that we're going to be doing some salute to the sun this evening, I'm just going to create a little more space through the ankles, through the calves. Take the right foot back, turning the toe under. Again, be mindful you don't lock out the upper arms as you press that right heel to the floor. And just encourage a little more release here. Deeper stretch into the calf. Bringing that right knee back in, extending the left foot back, repeating that action on the opposite side. Rather than bringing that knee back in, let's for a moment practice our plank posture. So step the right foot back. Make sure that your shoulders are above your wrists. So it may be because we've been pushing back that we're a little bit off centre. Bring the shoulders over the wrists. Bring the back of the head and the heels into a diagonal. So we don't want bottoms in the air. We don't want thighs skimming off the mat. We want nice, long, strong diagonal. We'll practice now the dismount. So the easier of the two is to lower down onto the knees, to bend the elbows back rather than out, so that you bring the chest and the chin to the floor. The bottom is up. Then we'll inhale, lift the chest forward, press the thighs to the mat. On an out breath, release back, come into a nice long, extended child's pose. We need to keep the shoulders open here, so let's keep the palms forward. Exhale to push the sit bones towards the heels. Then return once more to that all fours position. I'm going to get you to do that again. This time I'm watching. Because I wasn't before, I was demonstrating so beautifully. So please come into your plank posture. And this time I will shout at you if I see your bottom up in the air. Beautiful. Very well behaved. Now lower down onto your knees. Bring down the chest and the chin. So remember the elbows go back rather than out. If you make them go out, you will collapse. It's quite hard to do. Then inhale to lift the chest. Beautiful. Then push back again into the child's pose. So a couple of you are off the screen. I also think a couple of you are just kind of busking it a bit, which is fine. This is your practice. Thank you, Claire, that's great. As long as you know, yeah, Liz, yours could do to come down, that's cool. As long as you know that I always aim to teach you the right technique, not because I'm being a hard taskmaster, but because it's kinder to your joints if we do it in the order that it's taught. Beautiful. So just as an alternative then, because when we do the salute to the sun, some people prefer a little bit of pace, a little bit of speed. The alternative to the knees, chest, chin, or the Ashtanga Namaskar is to come down into Chaturanga. So in Ashtanga Namaskar, it's called Ashtanga because there are 8 points touch the floor. 2 hands, 2 feet, 2 knees. The chest is 1. I don't know how that arithmetic works. And the chin. So that's 8 points touching the floor. The alternative is 4 points. So that means 2 hands, 2 feet. And that tip I gave you earlier about the elbows is particularly important for the Chaturanga. So elbows shouldn't go out, it will collapse the shoulders. Elbows come back, take hold of the rib cage, hover, then you can lower down and lift up. I'd like to see, oh, did you just all watch me there? That must have been nice for you. Learn with mother. It's your turn now. So back into your beautiful plank. Perfect technique. And then just trust the words. So wrists under shoulders to begin with. If your wrists are too far forward, it's harder. So adjust, so either shift your weight forward or reshuffle your hands. Then elbows tuck back. Think that you're bringing your elbows in towards your waist. Bend them back. Ooh, couple of belly flops there. Does anyone like Chaturanga? No. Joe, are you saying you like it? No. Okay, so Louise likes it. If Sarah was here, she always prefers Chaturanga. So Sarah, if you're watching this on the record, we have honoured you tonight. So your choice which one you do. I'm easy with it. I'm going to be honest, I prefer the Ashtanga Namaskar. I think Chaturanga is quite hard work now. Menopause has put that to bed for me. So we've practiced that little bit. The next little bit that we want to practice is the downward facing dog sequence. So we're going to build up to it nice and gently. We'll start in our all fours position again, but I'm going to just put in an extra step here to make, again, it feel a little nicer on the joints. Walk the hands a little bit further forward. It just starts that shape a little easier. Keep your elbows soft. Push your sit bones back towards your heels. All we're doing to begin with is lifting the knees, keeping the knees bent. And in my case, I have to walk the feet in, keeping the knees bent to pop the heels to the floor. I know I want a diagonal line from the wrist through the ears to the tailbone. So I'm going to lift the tailbone and push the sit bones back. So I've created more of a diagonal line through the upper half of the body. Then on and out breath, bend the knees, sit back on the heels. Let's give the wrists a break, bring them either side of the ankles. Let the forehead release forward. Some of you will be all the way forward, some of you will be dangling. It's just how we're made. And then when you're ready, let's come back up. So I'm going to talk you through it the next time so that I can watch what's going on. We're going to go into more of a classical downward facing dog. So all fours again. Your choice whether it made it easier for you to walk the hands forward. Sometimes it just makes that triangle shape a little easier to achieve. Turn the toes under. And this time, rather than keeping the knees bent, let's see how far into that mountain shape we can get. Beautiful. So particularly for those of you who have your knees bent, can we walk the feet a little further back? Trust me, it'll make it a wee bit easier. Like it. Good. Lift the tailbone. Push the sit bones up towards the ceiling. Press your thighs towards the back of the room. Imagine that I'm there with my hand on the front of your thighs and I'm pulling you back. So your hands have to stay stuck to the floor. Some lovely lines going on. Does it help to pedal one foot then the other, lowering one heel to the floor? Beautiful. Just finding that little bit of space in the hamstrings. Then bend your knees, come back down into a child's pose. Again, release the wrists. As you bring the wrists back either side of the ankles, just draw little circles with the wrists. That will release. Perfect. Beautiful. Let's pop back up into the all fours position. I give you permission to have a rest and watch with mother again, and I'll show you the next bit. So the other bit that sometimes gets us a little bit kerfuffled when we do the salute to the sun is when we go from downward facing dog back into the lunge. So we're up in the downward facing dog. I personally always think it helps to take hold of the leg, to place the heel, the knee under the shoulder, then to lower that back foot down to come into the lunge. So practice it on both sides. So downward facing dog, forward for the lunge. And if you're having to jump the foot forward 2 or 3 times, you will get a little bit tripped up with the flow of the salutation. So practice it. Another tip is to lift the tailbone as you bring the foot forward. So almost like it cheats it because it lifts your bum a bit higher. That's it. We're doing it. We're in the zone. Nice. You see, you all remember it really. You just kind of avoid it if you can. Don't surprise. It doesn't, I don't blame you. Perfect. I think we're all almost experts now. So, you've just been in the lunge. Let's do, what are we going to do? Yeah, so let's do lunge. Bring the other foot forward. So when you bring the other foot forward, you'll kind of be in this position, which means the knees are bent, you're kind of hanging on to the weight of your thighs. Very important that we don't just rag the lower back here. So widen the arms, give yourself an anchor, engage the core. Inhale, first action, lift straight up, then lower the hands. Beautiful. Make sure the thighs are pressed back, tailbone is tucked under, into our mountain pose. I think we're all ready. Let's do it. So I know that I need a little bit of space when I do salute to the sun, because I tend to chuck my limbs about a bit. So if you're near a wall, create a little bit of room. We're going to start at the front of the mat. Starting in mountain pose, turning the palms forward. We're going to do a full sequence through, right, then left. We'll do it at half time, if that makes sense, or double time, how do you mean that? Yeah, half time. So we'll do it slower than the breath, but it's just to remind you of the sequence. So inhale, lift up. Exhale, hinge, palms to the floor. Inhale, right foot goes back, knee to the floor, lift the chest forward. Exhale, prepare for plank. I can remember the word. So when you come into plank, there's a moment where you inhale, you hold the breath, then on the out breath, you lower down, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, turn the toes under. Come up into the downward facing dog. Inhale, lunge the right foot forward. Exhale, step the left foot forward. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower the arms down. Then inhale, lift up. Exhale, hinge. Inhale, left foot comes back into the lunge. Exhale, prepare for plank. Little inhalation to get into plank, holding the breath. And exhale to lower down, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, step forward. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, arms down. Did we all roughly keep up with that? Do we think we're happy with the sequence? Kind of, yeah. So if I say it, I can watch you. So come again to the front of your mat. If you're too far back, you'll start too far back and you'll run out of mat. So inhale, lift up, look up. Exhale, hinge, palms to the floor. Inhale, right leg back, come into the lunge. Exhale, left foot back, come into the plank. Little breath in, hold the breath. Exhale, lower down, knees, chest, chin or chaturanga. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, turn the toes under. Use that exhalation for core engagement. Inhale, lift the right foot forward, coming into the lunge. Good. Exhale, bring the left foot forward. Then inhale, unhinge, lift up, and then bring the hands back down by your side. Inhale, exhale, hinge. Inhale, come into the lunge with the left leg forward, the right foot back, I think, other way round. Beautiful. Step the opposite foot back, come into your plank. Exhale, lower down, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, push up into downward facing dog. Inhale, coming forward into the lunge. Exhale, stepping forward into the fold. Inhale, straightening back up. Exhale, lower the arms down. Okay, good. So I'd say that there's pretty good technique all round there. The one area that always feels really confusing is, I think the lunges is one of the ones, because you feel like you're stepping back, but I'm asking you to breathe in. So always think of a lunge as a heart opener. That's why I'm asking you to breathe in, because you're opening your heart forward. So we're going to do it again, together. But this time I'm not necessarily going to count. I'm just going to kind of let you go with your own flow. I might every now and again remember to shout something. But let's see if we can do it just to the sound of your own breath. Keep going. Inhale. Inhale. Got a little bit ropey at the end there. I think a couple of you went wrong actually. But don't worry. Finish off your sequence and come back to the, I've realised I'm standing very close forward. Come back into the middle of your mat and just observe your breath, observe your heart rate. We don't often tank it in this class, but actually I think part of the reason we feel a little bit breathless with that is not because it's particularly challenging in terms of an exercise, but more because we had to really concentrate and we had to remember what came next. And so that's why I exaggerated the breath throughout, because typically when your brain's in that fight or flight mode, your breath becomes really shallow and it's kind of, and that's why you feel a bit tight now. So let's take a moment to take the feet a little bit wider than hip width distance apart, turning the palms towards the front of the room. I'm just going to wiggle the toes, give them a bit of space, wiggle the fingers. And at this point, I'm going to remind you that if you decide to do this on the catch up, you can just keep going with your salute to the sun over this bit so that you do your 108 salutations on the 21st of June. Do let me know if you get there. I don't think I will. Inhale to squeeze the shoulders up towards the ears. As you exhale, shrug the shoulders down. Let them go. Beautiful. Let's take the feet a little bit further apart. So although we're taking the feet further apart, avoid turning the toes out. Let's bring the insides of the feet parallel. And let's remind ourselves to switch the knees off, so nice and soft. Take the hands to the hips, and all we're going to do at this point is just hinge forward, 90 degrees. So we're not sinking the shoulders forward. We're thinking about that line from the back of the head to the tailbone. Then bringing the hands to wrap around the elbows. On your next out breath, you can allow that diagonal to happen again so that you are bringing the shoulders towards the floor, bringing the forearms parallel, tucking the chin under and letting the back of the neck fully release. So in an ideal world, we're going to resist the temptation of bending the knees too much. We won't lock the knees, but we'll try to remember to lift the tailbone to push the sit bones back. It might feel comfortable to bring your ears between the upper arms. And you might want to just gently rock your body weight from one leg to the other. So we're not overdoing any joint. We're not massively stretching any set of muscles. We're just allowing gravity to just give us a little more length. Now bring the fingertips towards the floor. It might be that you can get the palms to the mat. It might be that you want to walk the feet a little wider. If you choose to do so, just make sure that you reset the insides of the feet parallel. Keep those shoulder blades drawn together and maintain that line from the back of the head to the tailbone. Walk the hands a little further forward, so that's going to take the strain off the back of the legs. Try to keep the heels to the floor. Then on an out breath, start to bring the elbows towards the floor. So bringing the forearms down towards ground level. Ooh, that's hard tonight. Just allowing your weight to sink you a little more deeply towards the earth. Now, particularly for those of you who have low blood pressure, we're not going to hang around here for too long. I want you to check the length of your breath. So inhaling deeply, exhaling fully. Inhaling deeply. On the next exhalation, engage the core, start to walk the hands back so that the palms are under the shoulders again. On an out breath, soften again. You might feel the top of your head comes a little closer to the floor. Now inhale to reposition the hands on top of the thighs. At this point, keep looking down at the floor, try not to look up. It helps here to have a little bend in the knees. Exhale to draw the tummy button in. Inhale, push into the palms. Start to lift the upper body straight. Keep looking down at the floor. On the next inhalation, lift your gaze. On your exhalation, soften the shoulders down. Then jump the feet together. Huzzah! See, you've still got life in you. Good, good. Let's just position those feet again, hip width distance apart, nice and soft in the knees. A little bit of release through the hips once more. So this is really all about the lower back rather than the hips. We're just going to draw a little figure of 8 with the hips, so notice how much bend there is on the knees. Give yourself space to really travel. You might want to lift one hip higher, then the other. I always think that this looks like Tales of the Unexpected. Do, do, do. Some of you are too young to remember that, so I'm just going to not even go there. Bring your arms into it, bring your wrists into it. Lovely. Love it. Check it out. Wish we had some tunes to dance to. Then slowly start to ease that gentle action, bringing you back to center. Again, notice that heart rate. You had fun there, but you forgot to breathe. And then when you're ready, bring yourself back down onto the floor. So your choice whether your preference is to bend the knees or to come into a Shavasana pose. Just find the position that's comfortable for you. I'll just find a little cushion to sit on. Beautiful. Bring your awareness back to the breath. And I bet you this time, because you've been so active on your feet, the back of your body is like, yes, let me just relax. Tune into the breath once more. As you focus on slowing the breath down, invite your mind to quiet. Invite your body to let go. Scan through the full length of your body, starting at the head, ending at your toes. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Long, steady breath out through the mouth. Relax the right foot. Relax the left foot. Feel both feet fully released and relaxed. Relax the ankles, the calves and the shins. Softening and releasing here the ankles, the calves and the shins. Release any tension behind the knees. Soften the thighs. Feel the backs of the thighs spread and release. Imagine your inner thighs rolling outwards. The top of the thighs softening, becoming heavy here. Creating a gentle release across the hip flexors. Feel the weight of your lower body through the back of your hips, your buttocks soft and released. Imagine you can breathe space in and around that right hip socket, breathing in and around the left hip socket. And as you exhale, feel the space between the hips widen. Feel that space soften. The whole weight of your lower body gently sinking a little more deeply into the earth. Notice your breath in your belly. Feel your breath in your chest, across your collarbones, through the expanse of your back, at the sides of the rib cage. Feel that expansion all the way down through the length of your arms, softening the fingers of the right hand, fingers of the left hand, palms of the hands soft, the wrists released, the elbows soft, the weight of your upper arms pinning you to the floor. Feel that connection through the flats of the shoulder blades. Noticing that the deeper your upper body sinks, the more you can release through the back of the neck, the back of the head, across your crown, softening the jaw, unclenching the teeth, relaxing the forehead, releasing the right eyebrow, the left eyebrow. Your whole face, soft, heavy. Your whole head, fully released. There's no effort with the breath. Simply observe the breath coming in and out of the body. Nourishing with each full deep breath in, releasing any remaining tension with each full long breath out. Resetting, recalibrating, recharging the whole of your body. Filling your body with positive energy. Ready to face your week ahead. Now simply remain rested just a couple of moments. Feel the energy of the Koshi chimes lighten your mood. And start to return sensation now. Ready to reawaken. Ready to slowly come back to your space within this room. Becoming aware of the cool air around you, against your face, your hands and your feet. Perhaps taking a long stretch, or if you prefer, hugging the knees to the chest and once more releasing the lower back. In your own time, rolling to one side, pausing there before you rush to sit up, blinking the eyes open, and returning again to a comfortable seated position. I always give it an extra couple of moments for Candice, because I think you just enjoy that relaxation a little bit longer. Bring your hands to an Anjali Mudra. Touch to the head for kind thoughts, to the lips for kind words, and to the heart for kind intentions. The light in me honours the light in you. Namaste. I wish you happy solstice for Friday and enjoy the full moon on Saturday. Wow, we've got so much to look forward to.